The full episode is now available on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Please see the link in the description for more details.
By the way,
Mm.
speaking of 2025 being a dry slate, HBO is going to be in trouble next year in 2024 because, and I put this out as a tweet as well. Twitter user, a Song of Ice and Fire source, he put out a tweet that says, according to rumors, the production of House of the Dragon is under great pressure at HBO. With dozens of productions stopped or delayed due to the strikes, the series will be the network's biggest production and bet for 2024. Now, of course, there's no source for these rumors. I don't know where this person got this, but it's a good topic of
Yeah.
conversation. Because I said season 2 needs to be a banger, and it needs to come out swinging. If HBO wants to make it the Ice and Fire channel because they've got nothing else besides Euphoria, then fine. But every single episode has to be straight 10 out of 10s. Don't fucking miss. If Ryan Condal wants, whatever he wants, you give it to him. If he wants breakfast, you give him breakfast. If he wants breakfast in bed, you give it to him. If he wants spaghetti sauce on side, you give him 2 sauces on side. Give this man everything he needs to save your network in 2024. Because you guys don't seem like you have anything set for that slate.
Let me see. Is there anything? Do you know about any upcoming shows that are going to be like for HBO? Like, aren't they doing? Aren't they coming back with True Detective? And
we both know True Detective hasn't been good since season 1. We both know that.
It's true. I think they're doing it. I think they're doing another Hellraiser series.
Hellraiser. Didn't that already come out for Hulu?
No, I'm not Hellraiser. For a moment I thought it was Hellblazer. No, Hellraiser, like with Pinhead. But yeah, apparently the HBO is doing that.
So I'm on
There's going to be
ScreenRant.com. Screen Rant 5 days ago released a list of everything coming in 2024. You have True Detective
Okay.
season 4. Okay, fine. We all know, however, like I said, we all know True Detective has not been good since season 1. But okay, maybe people will come out to see that. Fine.
It's got because they got Jodie Foster for it, right?
Yes.
That's the big thing. And everybody's going to be like, "Oh, wait, she was a detective or she was an FBI agent in Silence of the Lambs. That's kind of the same thing. I'm going to watch this." Plus, Jodie Foster has not been in anything for a while, so people are going to be like, people still remember her as being the thing.
Mm-hmm. You have The Regime. That's a new show. Once again, people are going to be hesitant about that. It's not that known. Who knows? It might be a banger. It might not be. The Sympathizer is another series starring Robert Downey Jr. in various antagonist roles. The series, based on the Viet Thanh Nguyen novel of the same name, will be an espionage thriller satire that follows a communist spy towards the end of the Vietnam War and his exile in the United States. Okay. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Always, I love Larry David, but does that really sell subscriptions like Euphoria and House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Sopranos?
No, it's a
I
fun
guess.
little thing it's a fun little thing that we all watch. I mean, but it probably does. Some people live and die by Larry David. I mean, Larry David's good. Some funny stuff.
But does that sell subscriptions? That's the problem. I don't know about that.
Maybe.
White Lotus is coming back for season 3. I know a lot of people like White Lotus, and okay, that could, but that it always trends.
Is White Lotus more like every season is different?
I have no idea. All I know is that people like it and that it trends, which once again, that really is kind of like the test of whether or not something sells subscriptions. If it like trends heavy on social media, and White Lotus, along with Euphoria and Succession, always did. So, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And Righteous Gemstones. Do you know anything about this?
I see it, but it's comedy, but I have not watched it. You know how it's there's like HBO loves giving Danny McBride like series on HBO. So Danny McBride has had like at least 3 series on HBO. He had Eastbound Down, and then Vice Principals, and now Righteous Gemstones. So I just kind of see it as like the continuation of Danny McBride's like HBO career. So,
Well, apparently this is still kind of like filming, kind of. So depending on when the actor strike concludes, we might see this delayed to 2025. Who knows? But as it stands, with the I would assume people would come back for True Detective to see if it's good. But if it's not, if it doesn't like rope you in the first 3 episodes, that's a loss. What I'm talking about when I say I'm saying trendsetters, I'm saying being at the forefront of popular culture, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, stuff like that. I know you're gonna explode if I don't mention the Leftovers.
no, the leftovers completely failed in that respect. No one knew the Leftovers happened. Like Leftovers look, HBO often puts out really great series, but like there's a difference between like a really great series and really great series that is something that everybody's talking about. Like when the ending of Succession happened, everyone was talking about it, and like making like water cooler conversation. Like look, Sex and the City is back on HBO, but no one fucking talks about it, right? You watch it, you like it, but no one talks about the new Sex and the City.
Wait, I didn't watch through Sex and the City. I watched the old one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the new ones sound fucking dumb. Like I've seen some reviews of it about how they're like trying to like be hip and cool in the 2020s.
It's kind of ridiculous because it's like a bunch of like 60-year-old white women suddenly decide to make black friends. You're like, really, at this point in your life? like at this point in your life? All right.
say what you will about Lena Dunham. And how people don't like her for whatever reason. I'm sure there are plenty of good reasons, but Lena Dunham's Girls, that kind of sold subscriptions a little bit. People enjoyed Girls, and I actually watched the first season.
Everyone talked about it.
Mm-hmm. However, I should also say that there are shows I think you and I should check out in 2024, but they're kind of not as known. And it's one of those shows where it's like, this could be interesting, but who asked for it? For example, The Penguin. You saw The Batman, Robert Pattinson's The Batman with the Riddler and all that.
Yes.
Wow, I forgot the man's name, the actor who played the Penguin, but he's getting his own series on HBO.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell's The Penguin is getting his own series on HBO. So I guess that could be cool, but who the fuck asks for that? I would rather see Batman Year One with Robert Pattinson than this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we'll
okay.
see.
The other one is Dune: The Sisterhood, which follows the
Bene Gesserit?
Yes, I believe so. It follows the what's the man's name? The guy who did Dune with the Dune movie that came out a while ago. Denis Villeneuve. If it's in the same universe as Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
Really?
Dune. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
That sounds cool. The premise of this is it's set 10,000 years before the events of Dune. The series follows sisters Valia and Tula Harkonnen as they combat forces that threaten the future of mankind and establish the fabled sect known as the Bene Gesserit. That could be super fucking cool. I'm very interested in that.
A Dune prequel.
Mm-hmm.
10,000 years in the past?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. Because, like...
Right. To you and me. Like, are normies gonna, like, care?
No.
Is this gonna sell subscriptions? God, I mean, maybe.
Look at it this way: is there's never been an adaptation of Dune that's even gotten past book 3. So the fact that like they'd be going to prequel stuff, like you haven't even like ever tried adapting the Dune material that's there. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like, let's go to the past and start talking about the Bene Gesserit. Really? Because I mean, the Bene Gesserit, like, where the Bene Gesserit goes, like in the later books, like books 5 and 6, is what's like kind of interesting with them. But like
give me a non-spoiler, too long didn't read of where they go. That's really cool.
Oh, well, they end up like, so like, Dune takes place, like the Dune series, the 6 books like take place over like in essentially 3 different time periods. You've got the first trilogy, which is, and then you've got the God Worm, like the worm emperor, and then you have the last 2 books, Heretics and Chapter House Dune, which the Bene Gesserit like take over the Empire. Yeah, so essentially. So it's, I mean, they're kind of like behind the scenes in the they're like behind the scenes like conspiracy in the beginning, but then like they essentially just like take over and rule the Empire at that point. Like, so the thing is like I say, like, you're a nerd and you didn't know what the Bene Gesserit did past Dune, right? Like,
I mean, once Paul becomes like, in charge, is there really anything for them to do? Because wasn't their whole purpose to like bring about the Chosen One, and then he is, and like, what else do they have going for them now? Or am I wrong on that?
It's like, well, it goes beyond that, because there's this thing called the Golden Path, where like you've got to, they're trying to put humanity into the Golden Path, which assures its survival. But like, and so like the Emperor, they needed Paul because they thought Paul would implement the Golden Path, is essentially it. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's coming in 2024 for HBO. Like, okay, some cool, interesting things, but other than House of the Dragon, what's really selling subscriptions? So we'll see how that pans out.